A roundtable by the civil society of National has called on the National Assembly to amend the Electoral Act 2022 to enable the deployment of technology in the result collation and announcement processes. The National Roundtable, which had in attendance chairmen of political parties, some governorships, senatorial, House of Representatives, and House of Assembly candidates from various political parties, commended the introduction of technology in the accreditation and transmission of results in the 2023 general elections. Here's more.
The communique of the roundtable, which was read on behalf of the political parties and the candidates by the National Chairman of Action Alliance, Kenneth Udezi, frowned at the stereotyped attack on the INEC National Chairman and rejected the calls for his sack, which the roundtable said was an expression of ill will and done bad faith. He further questioned the report of the European Union Election Observer Mission and that of the Civil Society Situation Room for being narrow.
The National Roundtable reviewed the outcome of the 2023 general election and adopted the fact that this was the most politically diverse National Assembly in the history of our country and in the history of our democracy, with no fewer than 6 political parties having representatives in the National Assembly. The Roundtable observed that in the House of Representatives, members from the minority parties are in the majority in the House, showing a truly representative House as voted by the people. The Roundtable agrees that this speaks directly to the integrity and credibility of the election and commended the Commission for performing well in this regard. The National Roundtable therefore frowns at the stereotype attack on the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, who happens to be the same person that put everything online to push through the technological innovations.
Roundtable observed that the diversity of political parties in the National Assembly was clear evidence that the elections were free, fair, and credible, noting that minority parties formed the majority of members of the House of Representatives.
Not only that INEC recognized that happened, INEC also recognized the fact that its own staff contributed to undermining the process. And we commend them for being proactive enough to begin to prosecute those staff. As we all know, the suspended Resident Electoral Commissioner of Adamawa State is under prosecution right now, run by INEC. So we have all of these things coming, and I think that mostly recommendations should be what we put out to INEC so that we continue to make our elections progress. All of the speakers have highlighted one positive aspect of that election or the other, as well as highlighting the shortfalls of the election that we need to make recommendations about. I want to say that in preparing for the upcoming election, we need to critically examine, like we are doing now, the elections that have gone before us and make recommendations for it to work better. In the area of logistics, as they had talked about that. In the area of inclusion, this is the time also for the political class to look at interpreting the inclusion of women into the electoral processes. We have found that this election is one election where we did not have enough women representing us at the National Assembly and State Assemblies. So we use this opportunity to say, political class, look at your internal politics, internal democracies, and ensure the inclusion of women in our elections so that at the end of the day, they are able to get that. And then finally, I want to call on the 10th Assembly to take as priority the passage of the Electoral Offences Commission Bill. That INEC as constituted now should not be saddled with the responsibility of prosecuting electoral offenders.
We find out that the security agents starts their march past in the morning before escorting those vehicles. So logistics challenges, we must as a nation address those perennial logistics challenges because it affects the punctuality index for every election.
The roundtable put together by the Civil Society Organization Central Coordinating Council also passed a vote of confidence on the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, following their comprehensive review of the 2023 general election, while commending candidates who lost and have approached the tribunals using certified true copies of documents and digital records provided by INEC.